Hi, today I'm reviewing Softube's Drawmer 1973 Multiband Compressor. This plugin has been modeled after a hardware unit, the Drawmer 1973 3-band stereo FET compressor. As you can see, the interfaces are very similar, although there are some small differences, which I will mention in a moment. Not long ago, I also reviewed Softube's Drawmer S73 Intelligent Master Processor. The main difference, whereas the 1973 includes most of the controls of the original hardware, the S73 is a simplified version with an intelligent mount knob that adjusts several parameters under the hood for a faster workflow. Back to the Drawmer 1973, the interface is arranged around the 3 bands. Each of the 3 bands presents its own controls, including the threshold, gain, attack and release times, and gain reduction metering. There are also independent switches for mute, on and bypass. There's also the possibility of soloing each band by shift clicking on status. In fact, you can use the shift key to engage or move several controls at the same time, which is extremely handy. Something worth mentioning is that the attack time starts at 0.2 milliseconds, which is pretty fast, and then moves up in discrete steps. And also that the release time includes 3 program-dependent positions which automatically react to the incoming signal and set the release accordingly. We also have one specific switch for the low band, the big switch to help to preserve the deep lows, and the air switch in the high band to retain or enhance the high frequencies. Then between the 3 bands there are 2 knobs that define the crossover frequency bands with a 6 dB per octave slope filter. You will notice there is no control for the ratio or knee type. The Drawmer 1973 uses a soft knee by default, and it is designed so that the ratio increases as more signal passes above the threshold. At the top we have the VU meters that reference -9 dB RMS. By the way, the only controls missing from the software in relation to the hardware are a pair of toggle switches. One is to switch the VUs to fast transient peak reading mode, and the other is to change the 0 dB reference by +10 dB. To the right of the VUs we have the output section with the gain knob and the wet-dry mix knob, which is great to apply parallel compression. So far all these controls are also found on the original Drawmer 1973, but Softube has added 3 more controls to the software version: the input gain knob, the side chain switch, which provides an option to route an external audio source and thus apply ducking, which has loads of applications in mixing, and the mid-side mode switch, which allows you to process the audio from the mid and side channels independently. You could, for example, set the side chain to external and choose the mid mode, so that the ducking only happens on that channel but not on the side channel, or vice versa. And by the way, beware of losing the side parameter values every time you click back on the stereo mode or close the plugin window. To avoid this, there's an option in the setup menu that you need to untick to stop this happening. The available presets will give you a good starting point, although you have to adjust a few parameters depending on your project. You can see some of the presets from the S73, but remember, whereas on the S73 the amount knob adjusts some hidden parameters automatically, here you have to do it manually, one by one. Multiband compression is often used in the stereo mix bus or in a mastering session. Sometimes it's used to deal with some frequency problems, such as controlling uneven bass frequencies or the singer sibilance. Other times it's used subtly to add some spark to the high end or some glue to the mix. So this is what I'm going to do with this stereo mix. First I am going to apply some overall gentle compression. I am actually starting with the gentle comp preset to add some glue to the mix. This is a very subtle effect, but what it basically does is to bring to the fore some of the background detail in a musical way, as long as we can find a release time that is sympathetic to the music. I think I might go for one of the program-dependent release settings, perhaps the mid one.
I haven't watched a TV program through the gap in my
I also wanted to try the vocal enhancer preset and see how it sounds. You can see the low band crossover frequency is set over 1 kHz, so it's compressing the low mids and the lows, but we're actually losing quite a bit of bass in the process, so I'm going to engage the big switch to let the bass through, but increase the threshold so that I still get rid of some lower mids. Definitely makes the vocal more clear and the whole mix sound less muddy. And then I'm going to widen the stereo image by emphasizing some of the high frequencies just on the side channel by using the wide mix preset.
A TV program through the gap in my toes, a Scooby-Doo, Sky Cat. I haven't done that. No, I haven't done that, not yet. A Scooby-Doo.
If you are into remixing or producing mashups, there's an easy way of getting rid of vocals from the stereo mix. The only thing you need to do is to mute all the bands from the mid channel, and you will usually end up with an instrumental version, although it won't be perfect frequency-wise.
I haven't done that.
Here I have a boomy recording of an acoustic guitar, so I am going to shape the tone of the instrument to get a more clear sound, and also I am going to control the dynamics for a more consistent level. I am setting the low band's crossover frequency at about 300 Hz to control those boomy frequencies coming from the sound hole of the guitar, and I am aiming to control the peaks by setting up the threshold, attack and release times so that there is about 3 dB of gain reduction when the guitar is being strummed. Then I can shape the tone further by boosting or cutting the level of each frequency band with the gain knobs. So we can cut the low frequencies a bit more. And also on the mid band I might leave the gain at 0 dB or even reduce it by some dBs to make the sound a little bit more open and transparent. And then I might add some sparkle at the high end with the air switch and adding some more gain. Finally, I can reintroduce some of the original sound by using the wet-dry knob to find the right balance. Here I have a not particularly well recorded drum beat. We have 3 mics, a close snare, close kick and a room microphone. I have placed a few instances of the Drawmer plugin on these tracks, including the drum subgroup bus. There are several things you can do to a drum sound with a multiband compressor. First, I have changed the tone of the kick by compressing the mid frequencies and then adding some gain to the low end to get a big thud, and to the high frequencies to get a clicky sound that cuts through the mix. On the snare drum, I am just using a gentle compression and makeup gain to get a slightly thicker snare. Now I would like to use the room mic to provide some glue to the drums. However, at the moment it still sounds a little bit too roomy, especially the snare. So I am going to compress it to level things out and get less snare and more of the cymbal sound, hopefully. I have used the parallel drum compression preset as a starting point, but I might adjust a few parameters. For example, note the big difference in sound between the fast and the slow release time settings. With a fast release time, the drum sounds bigger and you can really hear the big room, but for the moment I'll choose the slow release. And also I have another instance of the plugin with the wide mix preset to spread the cymbals in the stereo image. Then it's a matter of finding the right level with the volume fader. Finally, I am also compressing the drum subgroup bus with the parallel drum compression preset, but this time with a fast release time to get a bigger sound and some energy going. I could also include another instance with a wide mix preset at the end of the chain to get an even wider stereo image. The choice of compressor depends on so many factors, including the task in hand, your own personal preference in terms of sound character, and the music style. However, I think this plugin ticks quite a few boxes. It's versatile, nice sounding, and easy to use. Softube Drawmer 1973 has been officially endorsed by the original Drawmer's hardware manufacturer, so we can expect an analog sound close to the original. I'd really like the software additions of the external sidechain and the mid-side modes, which really open the possibilities for use in mastering, mixing, and sound design. Some people might prefer to have access to parameters like ratio and knee type, so for those tasks where you need a hard knee and brick wall compression, you'll need to look elsewhere. However, the Drawmer makes up for that with a design that helps achieve musical results, like the program-dependent release times and the threshold linked to the ratio. So all in all, well worth downloading the demo and having a listen for yourself. The price at the moment is $249, and if you are in the UK, I've seen it for less than £200. That's all from me, until next time.